You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I have a very special guest today. It's the Urban Aboriginal Rudy in the flesh right here on the show. We wanted to start talking to some people, doing some interviews, and I want to thank you for coming on, Rudy. We've been kind of chit-chatting, text message, email for a couple of years now, and you have some great history. I consider you a type of philosopher. Maybe a self-defense philosopher, just talking to you. And folks, everybody, we've been bullshitting for like an hour before we finally got started here, and just having a good time. So I wanted to bring some of that, just some chit chat. So Rudy, welcome to the show, man. And I appreciate you taking your personal time to join us.
Well, I'm very flattered to be here. It's just a good time to talk. It's just good to talk with you in the flesh. Ever since I knew about you, man, I'm like, I like this guy. We need to just hang out.
Yeah. Oh, if we could, yeah. We would all be raging alcoholics if we could all sit down and have a beer with one another. Yeah.
No. The local police everywhere would know us because we just be, we gotta scoop you up.
Yeah, scoop you up is right. They may have to use like a snow shovel to scoop us bigger guys up, Anyways,
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I want to brag on you a little bit. You sent me your 3-volume set of physical control tactics, and you do a little bit of self-defense for bouncers, security, law enforcement. You've got some experience, man. And like I said, it's when I meet people with real experience, the way you've described and what I see on your channel, the Urban Aboriginal on YouTube, and I can see layers upon layers of experience and wisdom, and it's just good talking to you and having that come out. So if you could tell us a little about who you are, your professional experience, as much as you want to tell. I don't want to dig too deep and pull off any scabs or band-aids you don't want to touch, but basically, why you're teaching on social media. Why are you doing that? What do you get out of it, Rudy?
Well, initially, before it got all woke.
Woke.
All right, let's call it for what it is right now. It was a place for me, my vocation is graphic design. I'm a visual communicator, so I do have a regular vocation. As much as I'd like to be Grizzly Adams, I'm not that dude. And I prefer wolves to bears, but anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. No, it was a way for me to archive and share, mainly to archive what I was learning. Because when I started out at 2010, I believe, I started at the Tom Brown Tracker School. And I have some seniors at my martial arts gym who were teachers out there years beforehand. That's how I even heard about it to begin with. And it's very intensive. It's long, like a week. It takes money, unfortunately. But thanks to my vocation, I was able to afford the time to go out and get the education. And I got plenty of anecdotes aligned with that. But for me, it was like, okay, I'm getting all this information that I'm not necessarily using day to day because I don't live on a homestead. Again, I'm not Grizzly Adams .2. So I'm kind of going, okay, let me just put this out there, A, for my future reference, and B, if somebody else gets a little something, being altruistic, mind you, I'm not trying to be greedy with the information. Let me
Right.
put this out there on a free informational platform that if somebody gets a little something from the information, then yay. And that was really kind of my initial uh, uh, tendency to do, or that was my initial intention, was
Mm-hmm.
really what it was. And it was just, it's like the more information I was getting, some of the information, it comes from my library of books that I have, other classes that I would have to go out and get, I mind you, pay for at the tunes of thousands of dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, okay, what about those people that don't have that opportunity? What about those people that, are out of the country and maybe can never get this opportunity? Well, let me put it out there. The vast majority of it is free on my channel. Some of it I do put behind a paywall
Mm-hmm.
because, nowadays, one of the first world problems is, oh, it's on YouTube, so therefore I need to have automatic access to the knowledge. So I'm missing this part. Why can't you just show me this information? I'm like, wait, because I went and paid for it. How about that? Right? I went and paid for it, so I want a little, just a little something. I'm not asking much.
Right.
$2, $1, $1, 99 cents, something. Really? You can't come up off of that? For the information that I had to travel wide and far and climb Himalayan mountains for, and to come back down from the great mountains and just to share for you for free on the internet.
Right.
All right. I'm going off on a tangent, but and I was
That,
exaggerating, but some of it's free, some of it's not, but the vast
right.
majority is free. And it's just really me archiving
Mm-hmm.
because you forget. And there's just tons and tons and tons of areas within the wilderness living, and the main umbrella is primitive technology. That's
Mm-hmm.
the main umbrella, because there's plenty of wilderness survival channels. You got Bear Grylls and Cody Lundin and
Right. Right.
all these other people. They're making tons of money because they had them TV shows.
Right.
They had their 15 minutes of fame, and they're making their money on that, and that's fine. I'm not hating on that. I don't care. But for me, it was just sort of like, okay, I'm literally archiving my stuff, because when I want to make something for myself, I'm like, oh man, I can't remember that weave. I can go back to my channel and go, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now I remember the weave, So, hopefully that wasn't too long drawn of an answer, but that's kind of where
No.
that came from.
Yeah. Well,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Well, when I first saw your channel years and years ago, I thought Urban Aboriginal. Now, was he an Australian Aboriginal and came to the big city? Is he a First Nations person in Canada? Because I know you live up north in America. You're up in the blue North state. You said,
Mm-hmm.
so I was trying to put it all together, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. If he's urban, is Rudy thinking that if shit hits the fan, because that's the place I live in between my ears, is what when
Understood.
shit goes bad. Regular everyday life I can deal with, but if stuff goes sideways, can we apply these skills you're using and doing into the SHTF world, or does it just help the mind creatively look at raw materials? And I see people kind of as a raw material in a way, because they're going to be raw. And do I look at them and does it help you think out of the box, improvise, adapt, overcome? So your channel has been really useful to me in that regard, Rudy. I know I just threw a bunch of shit out there, but
No problem. It's
you
all
know,
of the above, man.
yeah,
It's all of the above, because I at first I've gotten a lot of guff about it, right?
really,
Name, Urban Aboriginal,
right,
but again, I've studied. I'm kind of a pseudo linguist,
mm-hmm.
right? I've studied a few languages already. I got A's and B's in English in school. Yes, I went to school, public school, and
Yeah,
we had critical thinking worksheets.
get the hell out of here. They actually
Oh
used to
yeah,
teach
and
critical
it said
thinking,
critical
right?
thinking. It says critical thinking up top. Sorry, not critical race, not critical thinking. Right? And we
Thank
had
you.
to sit there and this is social study class. We had to critically think through a problem or a situation and come up with the correct answer. And, and the teacher would break it down of why it was probably the wrong way to think or the right way to think, or the right
Hmm.
way to build problem solve, the wrong way to problem solve. So, for me, ultimately, I know the etymologies, words have meanings, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
again, when you speak other languages, you learn that real quick. Otherwise, when you wanted the potty, you get, dishwater in the face. I mean, I'm just sorry. I mean, if you don't know the right words to use. So I'm
Right.
sick and tired of people trying to break down words and make them something that they're not, right?
Right.
Urban, obviously, city center, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Non-rural, non-suburban, right?
Right.
Meaning outside of urban, right? Aboriginal, meaning native to a place. Oh,
Yes.
urban aboriginal, native to a place that happens to be urban. I,
Touchdown.
you know, I mean, I'm not claiming that I'm Aborigine. I'm not claiming those native people's cultures. In fact,
Right.
I'm pretty sure I don't really look like them when you really look like them from an ethnobiological standpoint. And so I've
Right.
had people say, and now being on the internet as a internet marketer, I know a lot of people can't spell. So oftentimes I'll shorten the word to urban abo. Oh, everybody gets their little
They lose their shit on that one,
nickers of
right?
the bunch. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, no, that's a race. Wait a minute. I didn't make it racist. And
Right.
half y'all cannot spell Aboriginal. And I don't want you to go to the wrong place or not go to where I'm trying to direct you to on my website.
Right.
So, you know, those people, and this may be right or wrong, but can have to do with that. I did not make that shortened term a
Hmm.
racist epithet. So I use it as a way to shorten it to make it easier for people to find information that's relevant towards an Aboriginal lifestyle to wherever they live.
Right. Right.
But it is a play on words because I'm urban, but I'm saying, okay, if you're somebody on the street, how is it that you can use nature around you to build up and make your lifestyle food, water, shelter, medicine, and as you say, a means of self-defense. All
Yeah.
right, and that should be part of your freaking plan.
Right. Right.
You know,
I like how you've blended all of these ideas. Like I said, to me, it starts to smell like philosophy because you're using critical thinking. You're looking at your environment. You're asking questions about where you're at. You just bring it. The thinking man brings it all together, and the fact you're doing that in an urban environment, and you're just bringing in things from the outside, it's just great. I love it. But man, do you think that? Do you think the skills you've developed, do you think they're going to really come into play, or do you think what is happening in our world with the political social culture and its degradation? I mean, do you see it really coming into play up there up north?
oh yeah, absolutely. I
Okay.
mean, it does come to play. What I was actually working on as an example for a project,
Mm-hmm.
for my next project for my website. Again, I like to try to keep things primitive. And I
Mm-hmm.
have a list of things that this list of videos I need to make to archive, like a pump drill, how to make a pump drill,
Right.
uh, uh, the peg traps, and all these other certain primitive things. Um, but just living here in general, the lights can go out. We have snowstorms, we have ice storms. You get stranded in your car. Um, it's kind of, most people try to avoid it here. And the interesting thing is the people that can afford the education to get the knowledge are the
Yep.
ones that avoid that trying to get the education to get the knowledge. Whereas the people that truly like live on the street,
Mm-hmm.
that truly live, closer to the earth, or they're poor, or they don't have the resources, it's like, wait a minute, hold up. This is the stuff you need to be paying attention to. How to make tallow candles,
Right.
getting that suet from the store that's only $2, you know, uh, and rendering it into something and you can use into something else.
Right.
Now, I do understand it takes a certain amount of cognitive skills.
Yeah.
I don't know another way to put it, but one has to be able to put two and two together. I wasn't raised with a bunch of money at all. So,
Hmm.
but I still was, if I didn't get them grades right, my backside hurt a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which meant that education was a priority.
Hmm.
Reading them books. I didn't have Google and computers and all that. I had Encyclopedia Britannica, and I had a big ass dictionary with little ass pictures.
Right.
That, what's this word? How do you go look it up?
Right.
Hated that freaking term. Hated that phrase, man. But guess what? I came away just like we do Googling now. I
Yeah.
came away with like 4 or 5 different words I know how to spell, or I know what their meaning is, and that was
Right.
the
Yeah.
purpose of that, right? So we don't do. People are not, and they want to be the victim,
Right.
and that, I don't have this resource or I don't have that resource. Nah, there's the library. I taught myself a couple of languages. Why? Not through Google or nothing, not going to another country. Library.
Right. You just brought up a topic here, and hopefully I can remember it right. Is you said person raising you said, go look it up. And I used to get the same answer. And when I went to go look something up, Rudy, not only would I have a hell of a time finding it, but I would have to learn 3 or 4 different things and then learn about the wrong stuff. I'd look up other stuff. I get sidetracked. I go down
Yeah.
some tertiary path and get lost in the fucking sticks and woods. And by the time I got done with the exercise, I learned a lot of information about the various topics around that which I was asking. Today, Google, you type in exactly what you want and it tells you exactly what you want. And then you go away and you forget the rest. You don't learn anything. You just get the answer and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if and when things get really tight and nasty, whether we're talking about economic collapse or societal decay and shit, do you believe that this inability to research, understand, and have general knowledge, how do you see that playing out with people? Survival, their social skills and interactions. People are going to want the answers instead of having to go and do the work.
Look, man, that I is this going to be unpopular? It's going to be negative, but no, they ain't going to make it, man.
They ain't going to make it.
They're just not. I mean, you look. I had a peer group,
Mm-hmm.
Especially as I was gaining and regaining the knowledge and the skill sets. But even being a martial artist, you gotta practice this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's not something you go, oh, I took a class one day and now I know it. No, you actually have to be actively working on this stuff.
Right.
And so
Right.
I would get the constant, oh, I know where I'm going when the shit hits the fan. I'm like, oh, you're just going to be a feeder. You
Right.
bring nothing to the table other than what I got. See?
Right.
So my response to them, and you should see the look on their faces. My response to them is like, not if you don't know the secret, knock. Right now, I'm showing you what to do and where to get it. If
Right.
you're not interested in that and you just want to know where to go to get it, no. If you don't know the secret knock, nah, you ain't. It's not gonna work
The
out.
secret knock.
All right, and that means you got to be somebody vetted and know that I know that you bring something to the table and other than harm or locustry, if that's a word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being a locust, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, you're not going. You have to practice these skills. You have to get out and seek the knowledge, and you have to, whether you fail or not, at least you know what you need to work on.
Right.
Too many Americans are lazy. These are first world issues. It's too easy to go to the freaking grocery store and get what you need. Nobody knows how to skin a cattle. a deer,
Mm-hmm.
bison, elk, roadkill varmint, and use it, let alone know if it's fresh enough to even use.
Right. Right. Yeah. They don't know that. Yeah.
To tell if it's diseased.
Right.
You see, most people are going to go and just go, "Oh, well, I saw this on Grizzly Adams one day, and I just do it." No,
Yeah. All those things you just mentioned, I'm thinking about. What does good meat look like versus bad? The smell,
exactly. It's
right? Is
deep.
it has been damaged? Has it been injured with impact, or has
Does it?
another animal been? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another
And has
animal
it been?
eating it.
Yes. Has it been diseased?
Right.
And again, being an urban fella, most people don't. They're not even trying to touch nothing that's already dead. Let alone worry about whether it's fresh or not.
Right.
Let alone catch it on their own. And then what you do with it? How do you skin it? How do
Right.
you use all of the components of that animal?
Right.
You need to make a pair of gloves, make line of shoes.
Yep.
What are the bones going to be used? How do we use the fat?
Right.
If it's a big enough animal, where we're going to use the inner organs, right?
Right. Right.
So that's a whole nother butchery is a whole nother subject matter that the layperson would rather watch it on TV or internet segments than
Yeah.
actually get out there and get that knowledge
Right.
and practice it, at least from time to time. And
Yeah.
within a regular urban setting, fine. All right. Don't have access to all that, and no one can unless you really make it a vocation to search it out.
Mm-hmm.
See what it's like to live truly, at least for a weekend, without no lights or gas or water or all of the above. And that will give you it'll let you know the holes in your defenses.
Right. Yeah. I've recommended that from time to time. Spend a
Sure.
weekend. Do it.
Yeah.
And that is brilliant. Yeah. You won't know what you don't know till you find out you don't know it.
Yep.
To quote Dr. Seuss. But yeah.
But
Yeah. Oops.
can't do that now because the woke facts. Woke folks, oh my God.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss is woke now. Woke. Well, let's see. I want to move on to self-defense. You're a self-defense expert. You've put out some materials. One of the things I've always heard is if you don't study your karate or your jujitsu and put years and years into it, it's not going to be beneficial. And I always thought, well, yeah, if I want to become a professional fighter and try and take on, Brock Lesnar or some guy, but in an everyday, this is a question directed right at you, brother. In everyday run-ins with folks in the street, bad guys, can you get enough self-defense knowledge to improve your ability to defend yourself in just a couple of weeks of training? Can get some basic moves, some basic knowledge, some basic understanding. Can that be enough, Rudy?
I think there's a yes. Okay, I'm gonna answer your question. Yes.
With a caveat.
Well, I believe there's always a caveat because it's like, what is it that you're trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
If you're just a regular, let's say you're a soccer mom with a couple of kids,
Right.
Now, can you develop the skills to scare off maybe multiple attackers within a couple of weeks? Oh yeah, if you're dedicated
Right.
to the learning, rather the indoctrination, if you will, because
Right.
there's a certain amount of unlearning that has to go within that realm
Right.
to be that ferocious mom. And most women know what that feels like when they're protecting their babies. It's just directing and directing how the responses should go.
Okay.
And that in itself becomes a curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore that it can be the same for men in general, the soccer dads.
Okay.
I'm one of them, so to speak. And I used to carry my little one on a Rebozo, so I used to have her on my side.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a CCW, so how I processed danger and assessment, but how I would have to train it would be different as well. You understand? But you know, the whole GI Jane prospect, you know, or even, you know, even for some of these men who are finding their masculinity, so to speak, not trying to be insulting, you know, you have to train it, and you have to find what works for you. But yes, you know, I could develop a curriculum that within a week, if you work it, and if you're not afraid of yourself, because some people have traumas.
Okay.
You understand? So some people have already been hit or attacked,
Right.
knifed at gunpoint, held down, raped, all that. And they think, oh, I'm going to go learn self-defense and that's going to protect my psyche and all that. Well, when actuality, it's like, no, we have to peel that off like a banana or an onion and say, you're going to have to face that. And you're going to have to use that. That's what, when I was talking about Marcus, and thank you for the shout out earlier, you know, you have to use that to access that state to still deal with the threat and get through that threat with certain tools that for the most part will work for most anybody at any stature. Now, when you see nowadays these poor Asian people being attacked, the videos that I've seen, those are ambush attacks.
Yes, yeah.
You're walking by somebody and they're just basically throwing out they're gonna
sucker punch
clothesline you or sucker punch you. Well, okay, if those people, that's where you take that part of that information and you say, look, this is how these attacks are going. When you walk past everybody, well, if the mantra nowadays is 6 feet of space because, you know, blah, 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 then give motherfuckers 6 feet of space. That gives you that much more space so you can either avoid or thwart the attack, or the attack won't be as harmful if it does hit you.
Right. Yeah.
See, but then people are indoctrinated. Oh, I don't want to seem racist. It's like, no, I'll give people plenty of breath all day, every day. And they'll look at me and I'll be like, what? They'll be like, what? And I'm like, yeah, what?
Right.
You keep going.
Keep
We're
going.
walking. Yeah, as long as I'm walking. You know, the other part to it, you know, just to kind of give something, I'm hoping to answer your question, but, you know, another part to it is kind of like turning a situation on its head. Someone wants to say, okay, let's say they come up to me and for some, you know, I make my own, you know, mucklucks, my own boots or whatever.
Right.
They come up to me and they want to be like, oh, sorry, my light went out.
Whoa.
And they want to be like, oh, I like your shoes. Run me your shoes. And I'm like, yeah, I like that jacket. Give me that jacket.
Right.
You know, it's mindset, it's state. And now we're at a standoff. And the predator doesn't know what to do because they're like, now they're being through. It's like, wait. It's like, no, you're not getting away from this. Run me your shit. Give me no, you give me that. Or rather, one blind side is, oh, can I get $5? No, I ain't got $5. In fact, I need $5. You got $5? Can I have $5?
Right.
In fact, can you give me 10?
Right.
Because I ain't got no money at all. In fact, that's what I'm out here. What? Why are you picking on me? You have to turn it, and you have to be serious about it.
There it is. You got to turn the tables and put yourself on the mentally offensive, right?
Yeah,
it's time
absolutely.
to treat, yes. Self-defense isn't about defense. It's about putting yourself in a position to defend yourself from them, and they're stupid, but be ready with your offense. And it's up here. It's up here. Yeah.
And they never know what the offense is. It could be the pen that you got in your hand right now, or whatever you got in your back
thing
pocket.
right here.
You see? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I got plenty of stories. I got stories, man. I don't want to even go. It's probably not even worth it to do all that because I put myself on Front Street, as they say. But
yeah. But yeah, it's the idea that if if you are a soccer mom or an older person, like I'm 52 now, stuff's starting to hurt a little bit. All that tough guy shit I did and bulletproof Superman, what Evil Knievel stunt, watch me do something stupid. I'm feeling that shit now, brother. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah, I'm
but
tired. I'm done.
but so now I'm starting to plan and go, okay, well, I know how to handle some of the mental games. Physically, I'm intimidating, but I've got to take into account my skill level and who I am. But can a regular person train enough to, whether they're a woman or a man, inexperienced, very experienced, can you get enough to use it? And the answer, I think, is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the
You just
person
got to
coming
train it
after you,
a little bit.
yeah, the person
So,
coming after you may actually be a complete retard and know nothing. They're just intimidating you, or they're going to surprise attack you,
exactly.
and try scaring you. People, they respond to fear improperly, I think. Usually,
Yeah, well, and fear in that is, it's one of the favorite places. I work the club scene a lot.
as a bouncer or as private
Yeah,
security.
as a bouncer,
Okay.
security bouncer, whatever you want to call it,
Okay.
doorman, whatever, door minder. And I work the mosh pit a lot.
The mosh pit.
And
Holy cow.
the mosh pit. So you put on some corn, you put on Trampled by Turtles, you put on, whatever, Slayer, and you're
Rudy's
gonna have
taking us
a
to
mosh
school,
pit.
man. Rudy's taking us to school.
Come on, dog. I lived that life for a long time.
Working the
I
fucking
just,
pit, man. Working the pit. You're a hardcore, brother.
I'm just saying. And that was my favorite place to be, in the middle of the pit.
Oh, no shit. Mixing it up.
Right?
Right.
Because
Okay.
for me, at that time, that's when what was it? Mel Gibson came out with Braveheart,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so every other movie after that wanted to mimic that battle scene. If you pay attention,
Oh, yeah.
and to me, I'm like, okay. And if you ever been in a pit at any major concert, you are sight deprived. You're orally you can't hear, deprived. You just have to go by feel, and of course, now you got the pika of whatever lights is going on, and and people are pushing and shoving and marching, and and the whole point of the matter is like, okay, let's have people have fun. But then when people fall down, you got to get back up real quick. Otherwise, you're going to get trampled.
Right.
And then you got to find out people who are actually visibly like elbowing and marching and high stomping with their freaking, what is it, them dang shoes?
The Doc Martens.
Thank you. Them Dark Martens. Man, then those are the ones got to be pulled out.
And that's you, right? That's you right there, man.
Yeah, to chill the fuck out, So, but for me, that was like battle training. Like if shit was really hitting the fan all at once with a mass of people, how do you deal with that? And me and only a few daring hearts that would love to be in the pit or choose to be in the pit or had to be in the pit with me. But I actually chose to do that because for me, it was training. And when they saw, the vast majority of the time, when people saw how I interacted with the people, because I was dancing with them. I was stomping with them. But I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. And then people that fell down, because I had a big staff thing on the back of my shirt. So people who knew who I was,
right?
White on black, staff, security, they knew who I was. So I'm picking up people, but I'm not trying to stop people's fun, which is what a lot of, at the time, a lot of the novices were trying to do. So they had a bad rap with the crowd. So the crowd came out hardcore anyways. But when I stepped in, it was just like, nah, just don't be an idiot. Do your dancing, just don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
So I had a lot of experience with that, and so I get it, from a martial arts standpoint. So you can tone it down or you can expand it out. But you tone it down to the soccer mom or the soccer dad, and it's like the key phrase is situational awareness.
Ah,
and stopping being this whole liberal, like, oh my gosh, I see a couple of people of color walking down the street. Let me let my guard down. No, it doesn't matter whether they're people of color or non-color or who the hell they are. They can walking down the street and they look shady to you. They feel shady to you, then they probably are shady. If it
right.
looks like
Yeah.
a duck, walks like a duck, quack like a duck, most likely it's a duck.
Right. Right.
You know, and there's no shame in the game, especially when you got children around. It's like, no, you need to step the fuck up. In fact, they need to know what they're walking around. Oh, there's some soccer parents here. Oh, yo, maybe we should take our hoods down and kind of straighten up a little bit and kind of, hi, you know, hi.
But
Instead of doing this whole sort of like, we all know the look.
you know the
Like
look,
a
yeah, and
shark.
that sway. You got that
Yeah,
sway in
that's
there.
what they do. That's that shark look.
Yeah, that's it. Sharks do that shit. Yeah, yeah.
You know? And so what the fuck am I supposed to expect, especially when I got my babies next to me or my
Yeah, well,
girlfriend?
yeah. You want to act like that. You want to act like the shark. I got to think of you like the shark.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can't
Yeah,
give you the
yeah,
benefit
yeah.
of the doubt.
You play that game. I do my fucking thing, and but
Yeah, and I like Skittles too.
and you Skittles. You like them Skittles?
Yes, I do. I like them Skittles and chewy Skittles especially. But guess what? I don't go walking around looking like this
Yeah,
unless I
yeah,
want to get caught up.
yeah.
And again, I'm gonna give myself away just a little bit. I don't live too far away from where Fernando Castile got. All right. So I that can be a whole nother conversation, sir.
Right, right,
You know, trust me. But at the end of the day, it's all in how it's presentation, and we have to admit that.
right, right.
You know,
That's the daily. That's your day now, right? That can be my day if I go left down. If I go down MLK the wrong way, I'm going to run into some stuff, and if I go this way, I'm going to run into some different stuff. But SHTF, the town gone mad, pick a town that went fucking stupid. Portland, I love picking on Portland, right? You've got you got these fucking idiot kids, they can't spell their way out of a paper bag. There's no critical thinking. They've been indoctrinated. They feel entitled to abuse other people, especially if they can victimize you. That's kind of the hot spot SHTF. I'm thinking a lot of people are going to find themselves in, parents with kids, how can we help them out today? Just in our conversation, tell them, look, when that happens, the rules are off, right? You're now in a Kyle Rittenhouse situation. Potentially, these people are getting real stupid. My thing is, if you see that, go the other fucking way.
yeah, you got to go the other way. You got to have alternative routes. Okay, I was doing a video. I was prepping for a video, but I didn't want to be late for our rendezvous. And I'm in the middle of it, but I'm a little remiss because it's very broad, and I want to try to make it succinct in what you carry in your car, especially in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things I came across is my atlas. I have an atlas in my car. Well, it might be outdated. I need to get another one, but at least I have an atlas. Now, it's not a city map, which is where I'm going with, right? So
Right.
you need to know your city routes, your alternate routes. One of the things that we learned from Marcus's classes in executive protection, especially, is you need to have at least 3 routes. You have your primary route, your secondary route, your tertiary route.
Mm-hmm.
Plan B, plan C. And, also from some scout training, it's like you never go the same route in that you are retreating upon, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in case you're followed or tracked or counter-tracked, etc., etc. And then as a bodyguard, you need to know where, oh snap, if this route is not good, we need to go. Plus, you need to know where your hospitals are at en route.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is pre-planning. And the best that one can do is give them the ideas. You have to think like a predator, which can, unfortunately, this gets into the weeds, but it can kind of get you into trouble, because now you have to study how predators think and
Right,
what
right,
predators are going to do. How is an ambusher going to do? How is a carjacker going to mess with you? How is a racist going to do? How is a kidnapper going to, and that's part of executive protection. You have to understand that mindset so you can avoid that mindset, because it's all about avoidance. Forget what they put on TV and the movies. All right. The best bodyguard you could ever have is a coward, not a cowboy. All right.
Yeah, there's some philosophical reasoning behind this,
You know?
Rudy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because the idea is getting away from and avoiding the situation.
Right.
Even if it takes you some roundaway places, but at least you got up out of there.
Right.
And I've had to do that with my daughter, not in real time with no real danger, but it was just like avoiding, it can get real hectic trying to travel certain parts of the cities in the wintertime at night, especially when I had to get her home and get her food and make sure she got her breakfast done, or got her, excuse me, not breakfast, but her homework done. Maybe I still had some shopping to do and have enough time to do all these things before I had to put her to bed. But then if I followed the regular path where everybody was going, it was backed up for hours.
Right.
So if I didn't have 2 or 3 routes to go, even though it may have taken us way out of the way, then she would be going to bed at an awkward hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my answer to that. Is just like, these people need to know their routes and need to know. I don't even like to go on the freeways anymore, because these entities like to block freeways.
Right.
Let somebody be in labor. Let somebody have cardiac arrest. Now, they don't talk about that. I'm sure that probably even happened last 2 years.
Right.
You dig? But you get in my way, and I got a medical emergency like that.
Yeah, I'm going through you.
It's I guess I'm just gonna go into the gulag. I don't have time for it.
Right.
You don't
Right.
do that. See?
Right.
And that's not going to look. One of the key, this. One of the key elements of guerrilla warfare is you never alienate the masses, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
So, nah.
Yeah. That was counterintuitive on their part, but I think they believe they could. They put enough shame in everyone else's game, thinking that they were going to keep swallowing that shit, and it finally backfired. But
well, especially up here, the fact that it went for so long. But that's the term Minnesota nice, where it comes from.
Right.
It's passive aggressive, but it's also like, I'll give the benefit of the doubt until it's not so much the benefit of the doubt, and then at least we were nice. That's them.
Right. Yeah.
I've only observed it for 30 years.
So yeah, number one rule: self-defense. Avoid the conflict if you get it.
Avoid the conflict.
Avoid the conflict. Yeah.
You got to be aware of your surroundings and situation. Avoid the conflict.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, my stepfather, 8th degree Shotokan, Okinawa, right, black belt, and he says, lesson number 1: the best way to win a fight. I was like, yeah. He says, don't get in one.
Don't go get in one.
I was like, I thought I was going to learn some karate here, And then I spent some time with my dad, who is a bit of a badass himself, and I don't want to tell his story, but I just said, Dad, look at those guys over there. They're fucking assholes. He goes, I'm not going to let their problems become my problems. Once again, avoid the problem. But if you're faced with the problem, you need to go on to the best defense is a good offense. I believe that works. You need to understand the enemy, the predator, and then have a way to respond, whether it's with a concealed weapon or knowing some basic self-defense or offense techniques, how to put someone down quickly. And would you recommend, if a person's small, trying to study something how would you recommend to a smaller person, a woman, You know, what do they
My-
need, or is the
my
great equalizer having a gun there?
okay, short of having a firearm, and even
Hmm.
then that comes in, you got to have those hours put into training, and we're
Right.
talking training in state. Are you willing to pull the trigger? Okay, I don't
Right.
care if you're my girlfriend and you got a gun. If you're not willing to pull the trigger when you need to pull the trigger, and I might need your backup, don't do it.
Right.
I don't need to give you the gun.
Right.
Okay, and so training with any sort of weaponry, that is a spiritual challenge. I don't want to get esoteric, but it
Right.
becomes a very spiritual challenge. It's like, are you willing to do what you need to do to another human being or beings to get yourself out of a situation and others? That's
Right.
the first level set that people have to make.
That's up here.
Okay, and that's all in here and in here, because a lot of people have a spiritual thing going on.
Right.
You know, now, as far as tools are concerned, outside of like firearms and bladed weapons, or bludgeon weapons, sticks and stuff. I think for smaller people, specifically women or shorter men, shorter women, Thai boxing, the basics of
Hmm.
Muay Thai is very, very good.
Is
You
it
will
very
become
effective?
very formidable in a short, hell, in a few months. And again, that goes back into the last question that you asked. That would
Hmm.
be a tool set that, and I'm even teaching my daughter. And I taught her capoeira, or I put her in capoeira classes, which is my first martial art way back in the 70s.
Hmm.
And capoeira is Afro-Brazilian martial art, but it requires a lot of athleticism
Hmm.
that is mostly good for younger people.
Right.
But what most martial arts tends to have is a doctrine, and the doctrine of capoeira is malísima, and then malísima, it basically means trickery, and that's what capoeira is about, because they were trying to trick their slave masters, if you will, into thinking, oh, look at them happy people dancing, blah blah blah. No, they had blades between their toes and doing this dance,
Right.
and
Right.
and even in the dance, there's this sort of malissima that's happening, this sort of trickery that's kind of happening. All right,
Hmm.
and some people can take on that sort of mindset. In Filipino martial arts, it's about defanging the snake. That's a core aspect or doctrine of that particular martial art. And what that is most people would be like, okay, so I've got my weapon, and I'm attacking an individual. Well, instead of attacking the core body parts, I'm going to attack the hand. And if you cut off my hand or make my hand to where I can't, let's see if I can get this on camera. I can't hold on to the blade anymore. You've defanged the snake. So therefore going into the kill is easier.
Right.
Okay. Thai boxing is the science of 8 limbs. All right. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Knees would be 5, 6,
Hmm.
and then the legs would be 7, 8.
Hmm.
And then I would even argue 9, because you could headbutt plus how you think. But it's the science of 8 limbs, right? But the way that they use the body parts maximizes body mechanics to the point where you can, smaller per person can really throw in some really hard, heavy blows. Hell, my daughter is not as tall as me, nor does she weigh as much as me, but I've taught her how to throw an elbow and a knee where I'm not going to stand in front of it.
Right.
I mean, at this age, at 15 years old, I'm like, see,
Right.
it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt
Right.
badly,
Right.
So, that's what I would start off first off with most people. And then the smaller person is an equalizer, whether it be a blade or a palm stick. Okay. So it loads the fist. So
Hmm.
it makes the fist heavier,
Makes
but
your
I
fist
have the back
harder.
end, and then I have the forearm. I have the forend I can hit.
Right.
All right. And you could put something like that on your keys. You can keep it in your pocket, that whole sort of thing. Roll up
Yeah.
newspaper real tight. Watch some Bourne Bourne trilogy stuff. All of that, it comes from my camp. All right. Actually, one of the trainers is from my gym here in Minneapolis. He went out to Hollywood and made it big.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an executive producer for the Wick series, as a matter of fact. And so a lot of what you see is made for Hollywood, but when you look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, they're using the book, and this is stuff I was taught in Inosanto seminars I went to.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, just pick up the book. This is how you do improvised weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was holding my pin here, and this is,
Yeah, exactly. And you see it if you watch it in the first Bourne movie, how he uses the pen.
Right.
Watch that. Dude, go back and review it, man.
But
And I can break it down to you. If we ever see each other in person, of course not in real, but I can show you exactly what's going on.
Right.
This is my logo, okay?
Right.
And there's Filipino martial arts on it. There's Thai boxing and JKD on it. And I'm using the wrong side because I'm opposite here.
Ah.
I'm kind of messed up here, but
That's
anyway,
okay, man. There it is.
Yeah.
But the takeaway I want people to get is you don't have to be 6'6".
No.
You don't have to be 270 pounds. You don't have to be a Marine. You don't have to be like you. You don't have to be, you have to spend years and years and years in it.
It helps.
Yes, it does. It does. But if you spend some time and do the training, it's actually exercise. It's good cardio. It's good for your muscle, good for your everything, your frames, your tendons, but practice it. And then it becomes second nature. The same way going shooting, I can pick up any of my weapons and it's like, it's just like an extension of my hands. I become familiar with it through practice, and through practice, I'm familiar with it without even thinking. But and then same with situational avoidance. I feel pressure coming from this. I'm a calm guy. I don't need pressure, so I'll move away from it. Whether that's 3 guys or 2 guys or 6 guys, I'll cross the damn street, and I don't care. I just don't need I don't need that, but if you spend a couple of months or even just a couple of weeks getting some training, I think that will give everybody some confidence. And certainly in a situation where shit has hit the fan, the police aren't available. You may be on your own trying to get the kids home to get back to the family, or try to get your whole family out to whatever safe location, whatever it is. Having that training, it starts to pay off. Situational awareness, problem avoidance, and if you have to, how to turn the fight in your favor. And are you willing? It's funny. I've seen people lay down on the ground, and I call it the fighting fetal position. They just curl up like a baby and they just get their ass kicked. And why are you doing that? What are you doing on the ground? You don't win a fight laying on the ground like this. When you got an opportunity to not have that happen to you, you should take that. If you're put in the situation, you've got to turn into an offensive machine at some point. If this gets that bad, and that's what we're talking about. The situation.
I think those people that do that,
yeah,
there are those people that have something to live for, and those people that don't.
Okay.
And I've had those conversations with those people. Those people that don't have anything to live for, meaning they don't have a brother, sister, mother, daughter, whatever.
Okay.
That's what they get to do. They get to go into pill bug or armadillo mode.
Right, armadillo mode.
Right?
Fighting fetal position.
Right. And as long as they get to walk up from it, then that was their kung fu style.
But here's the deal, right? That may get you out of trouble, and maybe someone will kick you a few times and pull your wallet and walk.
Right.
But when shit hits the fan, it could be your life. It could be, your girl getting drug off by your hair.
But for those people that don't, there's some people that don't, they only have it in for themselves, and
Right.
or they don't have anybody else to live for.
Okay.
Those people that have somebody to live for, you got your children with you, or you trying to get to your children, or you trying to get to your elderly parents, or your
Right. Right.
elderly spouse, or somebody that you really give a damn about, or hell, you even just have a sense of self pride and a sense of self uh, servitude for your own self. That kung fu style ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
It's
No.
just I choose to be a porcupine at the very least versus armadillo or pillbug.
Right. Pill bug.
You know, and then don't get me into skunk sky style, or don't let me turn into a tiger or a leopard or an animal or any dragon style, or throwing just or pew pew style. I mean, don't and so therefore it's how you carry yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And these and shit hits the fan situations again. The closest I know is just being in the freaking club scene. On the street, I avoid that all day, every day. And if I have to wade through it, then I wade through it in the shadows. And again, that's when it's time to put the hood on and walk like a shark in the shadows.
Well, now you're gray, right? Now you're like everyone else.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
when you're doing that. When everybody else is blowing up over here, I'm slipping over there. I mean, so it gets real deep, the different tactics and stuff like that. I mean, again, I got a bunch of books and, and again, I told you I was friends with Marcus, and just different ways of how to deal with and for me, it comes from both the martial realm, even the ring realm, self-defense realm, and then the professional realm, and that's what I try to put together a little bit, but I can compartmentalize it off. And yeah, do I get to take some L's? Sure. I've had road rage incidents where motherfuckers wanted to be like, and I'm just kind of going, you do realize I could shoot you right now in the face, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is go, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, you're right, bro. Yeah, you got it, man. Oh, my bad. Okay, it's cool. Whatever to de-escalate, right?
Right. De-escalate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to turn into predator mode because of the way our society is set up.
Right.
And the only reason why people do that is because they understand how society is. It's like, I was the victim. He cut me off, and so therefore I fell. And then all of a sudden he started shooting at me. It's like, well, how about not stopping people in the road like that you don't know?
Right. Yeah. I've had a couple people stop and get out of the car, and
Yeah.
I got out of the car and stood up and said, do we need to do this here, or can we just be cool and go?
Yeah.
99% of the time it's cool.
Yeah.
But that one time when that person wants to go to the next level, I keep telling, talked to women and said, look, you put your hand in your purse and then you look them in the eye and say, if I pull this fucking gun, I'm going to shoot you because I feel like you're threatening to kill me. If I saw a woman do that to me, Rudy, I'd say, hey, it's cool. Don't pull that thing out because I'd be afraid she'd shoot my dick off.
But then what happens when she say, run me your wallet?
There you go. Yeah, she's like, now you give me your wallet. And I'd be like, you know what?
I mean, I'm just saying, I hear you, but
I might pull the wallet out and start to hand it to her and see if her hand comes out of her purse. Then I would
exactly.
I would turn it around again.
That's right.
Don't shoot me. Here's my wallet. And pow.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, there's that distance thing. You know how long it takes a person to cross 5 feet of distance to get to you. It's like that. 10 feet, you're going to get a little bit of a chance to see him. 20 feet, you'll see him coming, a long ways away. But someone's close to you, they can be on you,
Yeah.
And you're fucking fucked up. So my situational awareness is keep people at a distance, especially the ones that are goofy.
Yeah, that are goofy.
They're
you gotta be able to
sharking.
feel that goofiness. Yeah.
It's sharking on me. It's like, nah, you made too much eye contact, motherfucker. And I will just go somewhere else. I don't need that shit.
And I try to give those cues to my daughter when we're out and about. And I say, do you feel that presence of that individual? And they may be off or doing whatever they're doing.
Right.
I'm like, that's what I'm trying to make her situationally aware of people's psychological or physiological cues
Mm-hmm.
when they're moving in throughout society.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of that's understanding social skills. You got to develop it. You got to start looking at the predators, studying the predators.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Anyway,
right.
man, we're right on an hour here, Rudy. I wish we could talk some more. Let's do this again if you don't mind. I'd love to
Of
do it
course.
again. Okay.
Anytime,
Maybe we'll
man.
talk about some
Had a
more.
good time. And again, we did get a chance to talk about the sand people. Oh!
Okay, we got to come back. Well, maybe like next month we'll do it again. I got some other people lined up. I got another Marine. I got a lawyer. I got an economist. I got interviews lined up now. But I wanted to get you back in the mix and talk some more self-defense, some more strategy, some more social stuff, some more philosophy, because it's all up here. It starts up here. You know, that sad sack of shit, that shark. He's got a philosophy, a doctrine he's working on, right? That there's something in him that's driving him to do what he's doing. I need to understand that a little bit, and it's just, I think that's going to be, I think the biggest risk in SHTF, any situation, whether it's personal or the whole fucking planet gone nuts, it's people are the biggest threat. That's just me.
No, I agree. Again, if I'm on a plane and it's going down, I'm not concerned about the potential, crashing and dying. What bothers me is everybody else freaking out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being honest. I'm like, It's like I would have a easier passing if I didn't have to hear all the screaming and crashing and gnashing of teeth and on the way down. It's like that's more terror than the fact it's like, oh, okay, strap in, put your head between your knees or whatever the heck we got to do.
Yeah.
And I've been on one of those flights where we had that dip, and people were like, and I'm like, I was cool. I was just like, I didn't like it, but I was just like, okay. So no. I hear what you're saying because I'm on the same boat, dude.
Yeah.
I was a sheepdog for a long time, and that was what it is. You have to watch the sheep, and the only difference the sheep have for you as a sheepdog, if you happen to be a sheepdog, there is no difference. They just know that you and the wolves both have teeth. That's it. They care nothing else.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, I want to raise a toast to you, brother. And Marcus, I don't know if you got anything with you, but Semper Fi.
Yeah, Marcus was good people. Gave me a lot of knowledge, a lot of stuff to think about, and a lot of stuff I continue with to this day. And it's very difficult to not have like-minded people to commune with or talk with. Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, well, I appreciate having you, brother, and it's good to always hear from you. Let's do this again, there, Rudy.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put the going away music, and then we'll talk a little bit more here. But I hope everyone watching this got to take some of Rudy's wisdom, some of his ideas and thoughts with you. A gem of a human being. You just know when you meet someone, and you're one of those guys, Rudy.
Oh, you are I've always been a fan for a long time.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. All right. So chance favors the prepared mind, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense or means of self-defense. Right? Anyways, you guys be cool. Semper Fi, Godspeed to you all.